Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssiarose and today I'm doing something entirely never before seen on my channel, and that is a Sims 4 speed build. So I became obsessed with these speed build videos probably around the end of last year, and since then I've been dying to start doing them, and I've always put it off. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm not good at building, and I've never really built in The Sims 4 before, so this was a bit of a learning curve for me. You'll see me make a few mistakes here during this video, but at the minute I'm trying to get the base out. So what I'm building, guys, I should probably tell you that first of all. I'm building my IRL house, so the house that me and Tim bought a couple of years ago that we live in right now. I'm building an exact plan and an exact layout of my house, basically. Just thought I'd get that right out the way before you guys are like, what are you building? It's so confusing. Anyway, back to speed builds. So I've been watching them probably since the end of last year. I'm really into speed builds there's this YouTuber called Hatsy. I absolutely love her speed builds. She does amazing ones. Deligracy doesn't really do speed builds, but her Sims videos are good. And there's a few other speed builders. I think Vixella does some, is it Vixella? Vixella, someone like that, does some speed builds of tiny homes that I always found really, really interesting. So I'm going to be trying to do some of those as well, because I feel like that's a good challenge. But for my first build, I wanted to make something easy and something that I could build from reference. So I can literally build this entire house from reference because I live in it, so I know what it looks like. So yeah, that's pretty much what that's about. This is how I'm going to be doing these videos hopefully from now on. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do a voiceover for them. Part of the video may end up being to music. It depends how long I can talk for and if I run out of things to say, essentially. But these will be really good times for me to catch up with you guys and talk a bit about my inspirations and stuff, I guess. But for now, I'm literally creating a replica of my house. So I tried to make it as exact as I could. There are some things I couldn't make exact, like for example the stairs. My stairs in real life curve at the top and also curve at the bottom back towards the room. So it's kind of like a semicircle in a way. No, it's like a bracket, like a square bracket, essentially, my stairs. But you can't do that on The Sims, they're just straight. Or if you can do it, I don't know how to. That's too advanced for me. So yeah, I didn't bother doing that, basically. So I've just putting the roof on, and I had to literally, this is so funny. When I was doing the roof, I literally couldn't remember what our roof looked like. I knew it was like this style of roof. So I had to run outside and take a picture of my house. I might insert that here for you guys. But I literally ran outside in my socks and grabbed a picture of the house. So that it looks as much like my house as possible. So, on to my actual house. I live in a semi-detached house, which means that my house is attached to another one. So this house on the left-hand side that's just like a ton of empty rooms, that's actually our neighbour's house in real life. But I just built it there because that's the way my house genuinely looks. And then down the side of my house, I have to the right, I have an alleyway, and then there's another house next to that, which I couldn't build because you can't build right to the edge of the plots, basically, and it would have looked weird to have it there. You probably saw me build it in the beginning, just like a little bit, and then I took it out because it just didn't look right. Oh, the windows took me forever. I literally spent, I think, a good 20 minutes trying to pick the windows here. It's absolutely crazy. That's why it's good that I did this in a speed build, so you guys don't have to watch all that rubbish. But yeah, so I live in a semi-detached house. We share a wall with our neighbours. So you can see it's just a big empty room there. You could potentially, if you wanted to use this a lot, change that into something else. But I just wanted to make my house as real as possible. I will be putting this up on the gallery so you guys can download and play with it if you like. And you can make it whatever you want, really. But if you want to play in my house or make a me sim and play as me, you can do that. I'm not saying you have to, but you could. So here's where I'm going through and doing the floors. So the floors, we have wood flooring downstairs, laminate wood flooring, which we bought. Carpet upstairs and on the stairs, which we bought as well. The bathroom and the kitchen, well, two bathrooms. The toilet downstairs and the bathroom and the kitchen all came with linoleum when we bought the house. And then everything else, all the flooring we bought ourselves. So this is me doing the alleyway, just like painting it on a bit. And then in our back garden we have a nice paved area. These were the only, this looks nothing like the slabs we have out our back. The only thing that's similar roughly is the colour. I just couldn't find ones that matched. You're going to see me struggle to do the fence now because I'd never built fences in The Sims 4, so I had no idea what I was doing. Anyway, I thought while I'm building, I could potentially share the story of how we bought the house, or why we bought the house. So Tim and I have been together for a couple of years, I think. Almost 3 it must be when we moved in together, into the house, I should say. We moved in together after 6 months of being together. But Tim was always had his priorities set that he wanted to buy a house before we did anything else, like before we got a dog, before we had kids, before we got married. The most important thing to him was buying a house. Which is fair enough, his family, his parents own a house. I can understand why he would feel that way. My parents have never owned a house, they've always rented, so it wasn't such a big deal for me as such. So anyway, we looked for ages. We even moved in with his parents while we were saving to buy the house. I should probably mention that this little thing out here is supposed to be our shed. Our house came with a shed. Anyway, we were looking for ages, trying to save up a bit of a deposit, and then on the, like, completely out of the blue, these shared ownership properties came up in an area near where my mum lives, and it was completely random and out of the blue, and we weren't really at the time thinking about it, but we thought, hey, we'll put an application in because houses in our area, especially shared ownership ones, go really quickly and generally go to people with families. So being a single couple, we generally wouldn't really get a look in. Real quickly, I just want to mention this. So what I'm decorating in here in the living room is what we are doing currently. So we've just painted the living room grey. We really want to get a faux brick wall put in on this wall that I'm doing here, which is what I'm currently putting in. But we haven't done that yet. We've literally just painted. You probably saw me putting it all over Twitter. It was really, really fun, but also an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to keep jumping all over the place for this video, guys, because I've never done one before, so you'll have to let me know how I'm getting on. Back to the story of how we bought the house. So, we put in an application, we didn't expect to hear anything back. It was a 2-bedroom house, we didn't think we'd get it. And then I think literally a week after we applied, we got an email back saying, yes, you can put in a proper full application. So that meant we had to get on to a mortgage advisor, get what's called an agreement in principle, which means the bank essentially looks at like a fact find sheet about you and says, in theory, yes, we will loan you money, but it's not a set agreement yet, basically. Like, just in theory, yes, we would lend you the money for the house. So we got that. And then once that was got, I think literally 2 months later, we picked up the keys, and it was absolutely insane. The amount of stress we went through in those 2 months, getting the agreement in principle, getting the actual full-on mortgage agreement is like sorted. Oh my god, just thinking about it's making my head spin. It was one of the most stressful times of my life, but then the day we got those keys, we were so relieved. It was honestly one of the best things that's happened to us. Anyway, so we moved in, and shortly before we moved in, we'd agreed already to get Zero. If you want to know the story about how we got Zero, there's a video I'll leave a link to in the description below where I created him and his sister in The Sims, and that's that. So let's talk a bit about what I'm doing here in the house. So the kitchen took me a while. I could not find the style of cabinets we have whatsoever. So we have these black countertops, kind of like this, but our cupboards are white. But these are kind of like an off-white grey, but they're the closest thing that I could find. Here I was like, oh, I must be able to find a closer one, which is why I deleted everything. And then I changed my mind and go back to the ones I had a second ago anyway. But ours are pure white. And they're probably my least favourite thing about our house. They show up every bit of dirt, and obviously with the dogs jumping up them and all that stuff, they just get so dirty. But yeah, the kitchen's probably my least favourite part of the house, and it's small as well. I'd really like a big like farmhouse style kitchen with like an island in the middle so I can do some baking and stuff. But I tried to make this as realistic as I could. So we have these little counters at the top here. In the corner by the fridge, we have a really tall cupboard, but there wasn't anything like remotely similar in the Sims 4 catalogue that I had. So I had to just go with I think I just put in a low cabinet and a high cabinet. But in real life, we have a big cupboard that's as tall as our fridge. In fact, I think it goes all the way up to the wall. And you open it, and that's where we store like our dog food and stuff. And like our tea, and like some of my baking bits are in there as well, I think. But yeah, there wasn't an equivalent. But to be fair, the kitchen turned out pretty good. I did show Tim the builds when it was done, and he's like, wow, that looks pretty good. So that's that. The kitchen is probably mostly Tim's domain because he does most of the cooking. I bake in there occasionally, but the one thing I will say is what I'm about to put in now, I think I put a bin in a second. This bin is so much like our actual real life bin, is unreal. Like, it looks exactly like it, which made me laugh. Also, one thing I didn't mention, the lights are nothing like the lights we have. We don't have these flat ones, we have just hanging bulbs because we've not spent the time actually putting proper lampshades up, so we've literally just got hanging bulbs. But I didn't think there was like just a plain bulb hanging on this. I couldn't find one. Also, we don't have a dishwasher. Where I've put the dishwasher, we have a washing machine, but you can't get washing machines in The Sims 4, so I put a dishwasher there instead. And here I am putting a few bits on the side to make it look more homely. We've got a nice red blind in the kitchen, but for some reason this one I put down was messing with the tap. I think this sink was a custom content that I downloaded as well, so it was messing with that a bit. But that one seemed to work. We also have a red kettle and a red toaster because we wanted to keep with a red theme. But they don't have toasters, so I got myself a coffee maker instead. Also, this drying rack, I was so surprised to find that. We legitimately have a drying rack just like that in our kitchen, so this house came really close to what my actual house looks like. So I know people like make their houses all the time on The Sims. They're like, yeah, it kind of looks like it, but in a video game. But this is pretty much our house. Honestly, when it's done, you'll be surprised. So this is the hallway. So we do have these shoe racks in the hall. We have one shoe rack between us, but I could only find this men's and women's shoe rack. So I just put them together basically to make it look like one. But we have that there genuinely, and we also have this little table which I'm about to put in. It isn't exactly the same. We have just a little telephone table. It's normally right by the front door, and it's where I throw my keys and some post and stuff. But we have this little toilet as well downstairs, which is nice. It's nice to have two toilets because when you have guests, they don't have to traipse all the way through your house to go to the loo. They can just go in the downstairs one. Now the living room. So this was a bit more difficult because I could not for the life of me find just the plain like leather armchair like we have in the UK. Could not for the life of me find one. So I started with the sofa in the end. This isn't leather, the one I went for, but it's the closest to what ours looks like, so I went for that. This chair was the closest to a leather chair I could find, but it looks nothing like our armchair. Although we're going to be getting a new sofa soon, so that's something. This shelf is custom content that I was just trying to use, but for some reason it wouldn't touch the floor. We've just replaced our shelf though with one that looks pretty much exactly like this that I've just placed, except it doesn't have the cupboards at the bottom, it just has the shelf. So I've made that shelf too long because ours is a bit bigger. We also have the dogs downstairs. We have their crates. We keep our dogs crated because it keeps them, in my opinion, happier, calmer and quieter. So instead I just put a couple of dog beds down there. I think I changed these in a bit as well because they came out too much. So then on the wall... Oh, I forgot to put the windows in. On the wall on the back we have our TV. We've got a proper TV unit from IKEA, but I could not for the life of me find anything similar. I was going to try and download custom content for it, maybe I will in the future, but for now I just made something that looks kind of similar but not really. So I think I changed that in a minute because I don't think I like it in the end. I'm not 100% sure what I do. Let's wait and see. Yeah, I did change it, there you go. And then I found some bookshelves somewhere. And I was like, yeah, I'll put these up. These kind of look like what I'm after. Where is it? Also, this TV is way too small. Like, our TV is like twice the size of that TV, in all honesty. We also have this. This cabinet is so like the cabinet. So I bought this cabinet to put my snake on when she had a smaller tank. And it was just secondhand from like this place that does like secondhand furniture and stuff. And it cost me £30, I think. So it was really, really cheap. And I still have it. It's just in the corner. But Twix is now on her own cabinet. I bought a special snake cabinet to go with her new 4-foot Viv, which I will talk about in just a minute. But yeah, the living room turned out okay. It didn't turn out exactly like our living room, but it was enough that Tim went, okay, yeah, that's kind of creepy. It does look like our living room. I'll be putting some pictures in at the end of the full, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say, the full rooms when they're done. Then I found this knife block when I was playing in the living room and I was like, yep, we definitely have one of those. And I think in a minute I find a spice rack as well and I'm like, oh, we have one of those too, I need to get that. There you go. That is literally the exact placement of our spice rack and knife block as well. It's kind of creepy. So anyway, while I'm still playing around with the living room, I should probably talk a bit about my future with Sims 4 videos. So I do want to do more Sims 4 speed builds. I'll probably try and do a lot of different builds and stuff. I'm not going to say I'm an amazing Sims builder because I'm not. And so if you're expecting really, really extravagant builds that are like crazy, like Hatsu made Elsa's ice castle and stuff like that, that's not going to be what you're going to find on my channel. You're probably going to find a lot more average builds that you can use, maybe builds based on real life places I've lived. Like I'd really like to do my childhood home where I grew up, so I might do that one next. Maybe even do like my boyfriend's house or my dorm at uni, something like that. I don't know, I thought that might be cool, so let me know in the comments below if you want to see something like that. At the minute I'm just trying to find random clutter to put everywhere to make it look more homely. Also, I realised that for some reason that had changed to carpet, even though it wasn't carpeted, so there you go. So upstairs we have this little cupboard. It's just an airing cupboard where we keep like our towels and a few like Christmas decorations and stuff. Although in real life the door is right next to the door for the bathroom. It doesn't like face out like this, it faces the other way. But I couldn't put it that way in here because of the way the stairs work. They don't work in the same way. So now moving on to our bedroom. The master bedroom is really big, and we're really lucky. It's got so much space, and these items of furniture are so close to what our actual furniture looks like. We have all IKEA furniture because when we moved in together originally we didn't have a lot of money, and it was cheaper to buy all flat pack stuff than to go out and buy like proper furniture. Although that sounds bad. IKEA stuff is proper furniture, I just mean we didn't have money to go out and buy like solid wood furniture and stuff like that. So all of our stuff is pretty much flat packed, apart from a few pieces. So this is as close as I could get to my vanity table, although it doesn't really look like what my vanity table looks like at all. I couldn't find a mirror that would go with it either. I think in the end I moved the vanity table over quite a bit to make it look... My mirror actually stands on my table, but I couldn't find like a standing mirror. I have all these little makeup bits though. Some are from The Sims and some are from CC, which you'll see some of these are custom. This is custom content, but it made the thing look really real because my table is proper cluttered like that. And then I have these teddies up on the headboard. It took me forever to place these. They kept like floating really weird. So forgive me for that. But I have teddies along the headboard on my side. And they sit really nicely because we've got like quite a deep headboard because it's got shelving in the sides of it. So you can put books and stuff in there, which is really cool. So I thought I'd put a couple of teddies up there to make it look more realistic. And then I found this clutter of clothes because I have this like pile where I dump everything in our room. I will say that this bedroom is a lot tidier than what our actual bedroom is. Also, our actual bedroom isn't blue. I decorated the walls for how we'd like to do it in the future. Currently, all the other walls, apart from the living room, which has now been decorated, everywhere else is just cream at the moment. So eventually we will change it all, but we're getting close to the end anyway. So the curtains I couldn't get right either, but I got them fairly similar-ish. But hey-ho. Is what it is. We don't have any paintings or pictures or anything on the walls. That's why it looks a bit bare. Honestly, we've only lived here a couple of years and we haven't done that much to the house. We need to work on getting a bit more done, but this looks pretty good in my opinion for what our house actually looks like. So there's the bedroom all done. So I think there's only the spare bedroom to go and then we're all done. Look at that. So the spare bedroom is currently where I have my recording set up, my PC, and Tim also has his PC. Eventually he's going to move his down into the living room, so it means that he doesn't have to worry, like if I'm streaming or whatever, he doesn't have to just not go on his computer and not be able to use it. Here I found a washing machine that I got for CC, but it didn't fit in where I wanted it to, so I got rid of it. So you're going to think, hey, why have you got these two random tables? So at the minute, my computer literally sits on a glass table that we used to have as a TV stand. I need to get it a proper place to go, but that's where it is currently. So me and Tim sit back to back like this. There's a bit less space between us than this. I don't know why it ended up being a bit more space here, but hey, what can I do? We have an exercise bike in the corner as well, so I was trying to find that, but I couldn't. And here's where I was trying to figure out what to place in here. So obviously we don't have anything in The Sims for snakes. They're not a thing that exist. So instead what I did was I used a fish tank as Twix's vivarium, which you'll see in a minute when I get there. Here you go. So this is the closest thing I could find to a viv, so you have to pretend that's a snake in there. That's pretty much what her thing looks like, except it has like a wooden top rather than a black top like that. But yeah, I think once I put the blind on, we're pretty much done here, aren't we? We're getting to the end and then we'll get to see the final pictures. Oh, this blind in real life that I just put on is purple, not green, but they didn't have a purple one at all. So I just used green because it's the next best colour for what we were going to pick. Oh, the garden. So in the garden, our grass is so bad because obviously we have two dogs and they pee in the garden. So we have these big patches of brown and big patches where there's no grass. So I decided to use these plants to kind of show up the patches in our garden, I guess. I think it looks good once it's done. It looks exactly like what our garden is. Our garden is pretty messy and random like this, so I think it looks good personally, but you guys are probably like, oh, that looks gross. But that literally looks like it's like what our garden looks like. It's crazy. So we have a little patio table and chairs, and that's pretty much our garden done. We don't really have a lot out there. So then we go to the front garden, I think, in a second. Oh, this is me tidying up the pathway as well. I'm making it look a little bit better. And then making sure it looks alright on the inside as well. Looks pretty good, pretty happy with that. I'm just tidying everything up here. So yeah, we have a front garden, very small one with these bushes that line it. Ours are kind of overgrown, they have some weeds in them, so in a minute I put a few different plants in there to make it look like they're a bit overgrown. And then this bit on the right is kind of shared between us and our next door neighbour on the right. And there's a little tree growing there which I put in a minute as well. Obviously it's a baby tree because the development isn't that old. But yeah, this is pretty much what my house looks like, guys. I could not have got it more perfect unless I got custom content for it, in all honesty. Oh, the last thing is the awning. The only thing is the awning roof isn't blue, it's black to match the slate roof, but this is the closest I could get to what it was, so yeah, that's pretty much my house, guys. Crazy. I think we're going to go into the photos in just a second. I put some windows on the neighbour side as well because it was looking weird without them. Oh, and the drain pipe. I found a drain pipe as well, which made it look even more like our house. It's actually insane how much it looks like it. So here's the final build. I'm so happy with how it turned out. The garden looks exactly like our garden. It's insane. Obviously the background doesn't look the same. Living room with little dog Zero in there as well. Okay, so there you have it, guys. There is my first ever speed build on The Sims 4. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me build it. If you have, please do leave a like and maybe even subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!